I'd like to speak about the loss of motivation during awakening. So, what is it that happens in the beginning when we first start to remove ourselves from being so magnetically intertwined with the outer world, lost in hypnosis in this Maya, the world of the collective, right? What starts to happen when we start to wake up is that we take this backward step in ourselves, and we become more centered within, more oriented within, okay? And so that motivation that is focused outside, that is connected with the motivation of the collective, that isn't necessarily in alignment with life. It's more, I don't know, human created motivation. What are some of the things that motivate people? Money, sex, um, recognition, worthiness, feeling worthy, feeling like there's purpose. There's some things in there that are just fine, totally fine, not a problem. But when you start to want to wake up to your true nature, as they call it, truth starts to want to be a part of your life. It wants to run. It wants to be what's leading, and not a false sense of self, which could be intertwined with a motivation that isn't in alignment with truth. So as you get more in alignment, as truth starts to run the show more, and it's leading, it's first it becomes like a dance partner, spirit, your being, your innermost self. And then it's a partner in your dance, right? But then it starts to lead the more that there's a surrender, the more that there's a letting go. And there's something that has to dry up for that to happen, and that is false motivation. It's the motivation that has been lost in the world that isn't necessarily in alignment with what's authentic and true and real for you, what your real purpose and what your real being is wanting here. So this sort of this dying off period, okay? Kind of like when you go through a healing crisis, and let's say you've been eating too much sugar and you haven't been taking good care of yourself, right? There's this period of time where you might be uncomfortable because you're getting healthier. And so the part of you that's wanting the sugar and the carbs and all that, it starts to go through some withdrawals, right? The body. And how it's been getting its energy in the past, it starts to die off, right? So you can feel a bit unsettled, a bit crappy for a while. So when your inner motivation starts to ebb, that's really your personal will. So this idea that you're the doer is what is connected to personal will. We all have been told that one thing we have is personal will. That's not all the way true. It's actually, it feels like that, and it's a beautiful thing to feel that. It's kind of like this part of a growing up period where we're meant to feel connected to what we're able to do, our potential, what we can make happen in the world. All that is good and well. But when you start to go into being more of in your spiritual being, there's a withdrawal. So kind of like the tide is coming back in, okay? So there's a withdrawal of the energy that's been outwardly motivated and leaning out into the world, wanting to get fulfillment and the recognition or whatever from the world, from others. That's not the drive that takes place anymore. What starts to take place is that the inner, which is full of life force energy, it starts to motivate. It wants to run the show. It wants to be leading the dance. Hands off the steering wheel. You've probably heard that, right? Take your hands off the steering wheel. Life knows what it's doing. It knows how to drive. It knows how to lead. It knows what it's doing much better. And the reason is because, why is that? Why is it that it knows better? Because it's what's been leading all along. Truth is what's living you right now. And the idea of you is just an overlay over reality. The idea of you. The idea of you is what we wake up out of when we talk about waking up. What is waking up? Awakening is becoming conscious, awareness becoming conscious of itself, spirit becoming conscious of itself, right? That which has always been here, realizing that it's always been here. And so the dying off, the loss of motivation, the loss of energy to get things done, to do things, it can feel very disconcerting, right? I remember when it took place for me, it was like this motor that had been going, and I didn't have a very strong one. Maybe some of you can relate, or some of you have a very strong self-motivation motor. We're all different that way. I had just enough to be able to go to college and do all that stuff. Um, but there was something that was leading inside that knew that there was something not quite all the way true and authentic about some of the ways that I was living my life. Maybe you can relate. So when we start to come back home within, and we take this backward step, they call them Zen, like you take this backward step in yourself, and you're situated in your spine, and in your whole being is located home here, as I like to say, home here, not home out here, lost in the world and in self-forgetting, but back inside, home here. Well, that can be a little uncomfortable at first. But what happens is that energy, that motor that's been driving this train outwardly, according to the world, according to others, the world according to our parents, the world according to maybe our boss or whatever, the world according to the way that people do things, not all bad. Some of it might even be in alignment with truth, but much of it is lost, just lost in Maya, as they call it, and hypnotized in the collective. This is how we do things. And it's not based on what's authentic and real and true for you. So that motor will slow down and might just quit and die and stop. Or like you can't find the motivation to do much of anything. Basically the couch, maybe, or just taking walks or sitting on a park bench like Eckhart Tolle or something. Just the motivational energy, all the falseness of how doing has been done. It's really the doer that's being undone. And all that false motivation is being emptied. I call it an emptying period, the emptiness phase, they're just being emptied out. This is not motivating anymore, because what wants to happen? So what's happening here? It's not that you're going to stay this way and live this way forever, okay? If this is what's taking place for you, or you're getting a taste of it, okay? It could be, it could be for a while. I called it the doldrums for me. I was kind of like, I'm on a sailboat in the sea, and my sail, there's no wind. I'm not going anywhere. But it's not a bad place to be either, I mean, if you're kind of honest with it, if the mind is not making a story up, oh, something's wrong with this, I should be getting up off the couch, I need to get to work. Well, sometimes we actually do have to get to work and do things. But, as much as you can, you try to allow that energy it has a wisdom to it. It's undoing false energy. It's undoing the doer, the one that isn't really ever been really doing. and imagination. It's undoing imagination, basically. And so there can be something kind of enjoyable about being in the doldrums, where nothing's moving. It's just kind of like you don't want to get identified with it, you know what I mean? And like get too attached to that. Like, this is what awakening is. I don't know who I am and what I'm up to and what I'm doing, what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just everything just is, and there's no motivation. I can't even find motivation to, I don't know, do the things I used to do. And what it's doing is it's trying to come back to stasis before fabricated personality came in, okay? You as a personality came in. Who are you really? Not who do you imagine yourself to be, and who do you take yourself to be based on others and your past and how people see you and view you and how you see and view yourself. So it's undoing all this imagination and personality and persona, as they called it in Greece, in Greek is persona is the false self, in order to be able for the true self to come forward. So this period of time of undoing is very, very potent, and it has a lot of power to it and a lot of purpose to it. And the purpose is so that what's real and true can resurface. It's like coming back to near zero inside in some way, to whatever degree. And this could happen just like you are in the doldrums and you know it, or you're slowly, motivation's being ebbed and it's more of a slow process and the tide is coming in a very slow way. And you're being undone slowly. Other people, boom, you're in the emptiness and it's just like, this is where I'm at. It's good at that point to have some good pointing, actually, so that one can not have too much imagination about that and create imagination about that or get attached to that or make it wrong, but have some understanding. This is part of the awakening process. And so then it comes back to stasis. Okay, then when everything is imagination, the doer has been neutralized enough, nothing's ever perfect, enough, then what wants to surface is what's really true. Okay, what's really true here? What do I really want? Do I really want to be in this job, in this work? Is this really what's an alignment? Maybe not fully, but is it enough? How about the people in your life? How about your living situation? We can't always have the perfect everything, but is it in alignment enough? Are you betraying yourself? It is self being betrayed. Self. So there's two selves. There's a small self with the small s, and the larger, vaster true self with the large S. You've probably seen that, right? The true self. So what is the true self? How does that want to live? What is its motivations? And then the energy comes in, and the energy is very different. It's not manufactured. It's the real thing. It's the real thing. And it's got a motor that isn't running on approval, on what the world's going to give you. It's a motor that's running on the humming of the universe, the humming of truth. It loves itself for its own sake. It's here for its own sake. It's in delight with itself. It's naturally enlivened because it is life. It's made, that's the substance of it. So then, there's ebb and flows in that, where you still need rest and all that. Nope, no doubt. But then the motivation comes in, and you might find that some of the things you used to be interested in are still there. You pick them back up, but it's being done from a different place. Or some things may end up really having died a death over there. You can't find the oomph for it anymore. You know, you used to be a golfer and it's just not there. Or maybe it's there in a bigger way. Whatever it is that you used to do or you love to do, some things won't be dying away, but you can see some things are dying. And then other things might be picked up. Like suddenly you're just, you know, wanting a different set of friends. I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen for you. Maybe you really understand that taking good care of yourself, the motivation comes from a different place. It's not, I should, I should do this. It's coming from, I want to, because this is coming from an alignment with wanting to take care of myself, and that loves itself. So it's going to take care of itself and it's going to choose healthier everything, food, people, life in general. It's more in alignment with what's in harmony for you. So that's my little talk on loss of motivation and energy, and how it is an aspect of awakening. It can be, you know, it can very much be. And that it's not a place, it doesn't stay that way. Okay. I'll do another talk another time on when it really comes back. But for now, I wish you well. More blessings.